Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
And happy Monday to you, everybody. It is Sports Daily here on KFH. How was the weekend, everybody? I'm Jacob Albrocht, Tommy Castor alongside me. Jad Chambers producing this bad boy, manning that IHOP hotline, which is, of course, brought to you by IHOP, which is excited to bring back its all-you-can-eat pancakes deal through September 15th. So get in there and check that out. We'll have your chance to win some prizes today. A little HTO for you to get the week started off right. We got a lot to get to always when we recap things. It's an NFL preseason game week. How about that? We'll check in from Chiefs camp, get a little sound from Mitch Holthus, Andy Reid coming up a little bit later in the show. A disappointing weekend for the Royals on a lot of different fronts. On the trade deadline, the outcomes of games, several different ways. I think Royals fans are a little disappointed today. No need to panic, but a little disappointing. And also the Olympics happening, and we're through the opening weekend. And listen, I didn't realize it, but I have been way into the Olympics. You know, the Olympics kind of come and they go, and the last time it was COVID, and it was like, yeah, you know, whatever. Well, this time, like, my kids are into it. I spent most of the weekend watching the Olympics with my kids, and it's like, this is like when I was a kid. So I watched a lot of the Olympics and had a really, really good time doing it. Felt good. Too bad there's, you know, distractions, we'll call it, with the Olympics right now, because the games themselves have been really good and really entertaining and compelling and dramatic and awesome. And go Team USA always. How are you this morning, Tommy?
Man, I'm good. It was a busy weekend. Feel like a lot was going on. And I saw you a little bit this weekend. You and I went to Chuck E. Cheese on Friday night with our kids.
That's right.
Not by ourselves.
It was like a lifetime
We just
ago.
didn't. Wasn't like you and I just went together, just the two of us. We took our kids there. We had, you know, some other dads and their kids join. It was a good time, and I feel like, yeah, like that felt like a long time ago. A lot has happened between then and now, but good to be here today.
Yeah, it was good stuff on Friday with the kids, but it was kid-filled weekend, which is always good. How much of the Olympics have you consumed?
Almost 0% of the Olympics.
Really?
I really have not gotten into it. My wife watched a little bit of it yesterday. I think she watched women's volleyball,
gymnastics,
maybe.
I'm sure.
Well,
Oh,
she
you
watched
gotta
a little bit of gymnastics, but
yeah,
she
you
watched
gotta watch
volleyball too.
Simone Biles' redemption story.
Yeah,
man.
she watched some of the gymnastics. She actually watched the Simone Biles documentary on Netflix over the weekend,
I didn't
which
know there was.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't watch. I had it on. I mean, like I was doing something else in the room while she was watching it. She's more into it than I am. I'm sure at some point I'll lock in and watch more of it. But yeah, so far, and I don't know if it's just because there's been a lot of other things going on outside of sports that have kept me busy, but for whatever reason, it's not been something that I've really been locked into.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be. I mean, I talked about this with Savage because he was curious and is into the Olympics last week, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I haven't really thought about it much, and I hadn't. And then all of a sudden they're on, so you know, I'm watching baseball as I do this time of year, and I just like, you know, you get like several events. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I could check out some doubles badminton here for a minute. Yeah, let's check that out. Pretty much what I do is
going on.
If Team USA is in, I'll watch it. And then otherwise, like my kids really wanted to watch the gymnastics stuff. And so one day there was men's gymnastics qualifying, and then there was women's gymnastics. And then the Team USA women went last night is when they showed it. But I'll tell you this, it is very difficult in the modern age to avoid spoilers, which I've done a pretty good job of, and keep up with the Major League Baseball trade deadline. Those are two things that are hard to do simultaneously, but I'm accomplishing it for the most part. Haven't been spoiled on anything with the Olympics. My wife loves to figure out what happens and then act really cool that she knows. And I'm like, you looked it up. That's not that impressive. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Either we'll go to a concert and she looks up the set list and then she'll just say the song before it comes. I'm like, I don't want to know what the next song. I would rather it, you know, happen.
Does she look up like movie spoilers before they happen and then tell you in the movie?
No, she doesn't do that.
Like,
but the concert thing really makes me mad. Like she knows it makes me mad. I'm like, stop. I don't want to know what's happening. I would like to experience it as a surprise. I know that's crazy. So then now, it's like, oh well, I know what happens at the Olympics, and I'm like, great. None of the rest of us do. Let's watch it, in real time and see what happens here. But it's hard to do at the Olympics. My biggest problem with the Olympics is a time change Olympics, but it's been okay this time. And the women's gymnastics stuff last night was really really good, and Simone Biles was really really good, working through an injury. You saw, I don't know if you saw that. So you remember what happened in Tokyo. Well, after her first or second thing she did, or rotation, she came up lame on her calf. And of course, you can read lips. They got cameras everywhere. And you're like, oh, no, like, no way. Because we're trying to explain to my kids. They're like, okay, well, why? I'm like, guys, she is the best that's ever done this. It's not particularly close. And they're like, well, why? I'm like, it's hard to explain. Just watch. And then they did. And they saw like how high she jumps and and it's just, they're like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, that's why. Like, she does things that nobody else can do, literally does things that nobody else can do. It's really cool. So we watched it. They were locked in. It was awesome. I'm glad I'm into it because I didn't expect that. It's been unexpected. I'm gonna tell you, like, kids cuddled up on the couch watching the Olympics, like that brings me way back. Like, before the internet spoiled everything, like, the Olympics were, you didn't miss the Olympics. Like, you just didn't. And so I'm hoping that comes through. And every night I can get off work and rush home and throw on the prime time whatever and enjoy it, because it's been fun through the first couple of days. Royals was not so fun. We're not so fun this weekend. The baseball on the field was bad. They miss on a couple of trades that could have really helped them. The problem that we looked at last week with James MacArthur and tried not to worry too much about now becomes a much bigger concern. Hunter Harvey left the game yesterday out of the bullpen with some sort of injury. I think his back. So who knows there? Schreiber's a little nicked up. All of a sudden, the bullpen is a major concern. And perhaps in a span of 2 or 3 days, Tommy, has catapulted itself above even that leadoff hitting outfielder. They're going to have to go get some horses for the bullpen now. They can't count on MacArthur at all. Like, I wouldn't let him close again for a while. I would just mix that up and let him have a couple mop-ups to see if he can cut. I mean, he's been awful. He's been absolutely awful lately. Unusable bad lately. You cannot run him back out there in a playoff chase because he wasn't good enough before that to give himself that much slack. I don't think, anyway. We've talked about it a million times. He's gotten the job done, but it's always playing with fire. Well, now the law of averages is playing itself out in a really, really bad way. And he's not been good his last 3 times out, and his last 2 times out, again, unusable. So I wouldn't run him out at the end of a game. You don't have Harvey now. They have 2 days. I guess, what do we have, about 24, 36 hours to get this done? They're going to have to go find another bullpen arm. And you still think they'd like to go after an outfielder, although they've been close but missed on 2 big names now. A lot to unpack with the Royals. They're still in fine shape in the wild card. They're game up on Boston. They've fallen further behind Cleveland, which is a little disappointing. But this is a really crucial 36 hours for that front office.
Well, it really is. And there are a couple of small silver linings here that I think it's important to point out. Number one, there are quite a few relievers that are available, presumably on the trade market right now, that they could go out and they could acquire. I know that one of them, the Royals have been linked to a couple of different times, and that's Tanner Scott from the Miami Marlins. He's the hard-throwing lefty closer for Miami. I don't know fully what his price tag is going to be. I don't know what the Royals would have to give up to acquire him. The interesting thing about Tanner Scott is that his stuff is unbelievable, and he's been outstanding this season. He's erratic with control. That's the one knock on him. He's a little bit wild, but he does lock down games at a clip that we really haven't seen from Royals relievers so far this season. There are a handful of other I think high profile or high caliber relievers that are presumably available that the Royals could take a look at and could go after in the next 24 plus hours at the trade deadline. It's not like that market is completely cleaned out. Like, they've got some options that they can work with. Now, I do agree with you. The desperation level, at least for the bullpen piece of what they need before the deadline, has ratcheted up quite a bit since Friday. So I don't know, even like for me, I still, if I were JJ Picollo, would prioritize a leadoff hitter, a pop, somebody that can add pop in the lineup above the bullpen piece. But I think that gap has closed pretty significantly. I was of the belief, even as recently as Friday, that they should go get maybe a leadoff hitting center fielder. And then if they could also maybe get a reliever thrown in, great. But now I think it's kind of like 1A and 1B again with the needs that they have for this team. The other piece of silver lining that I know we'll talk about much later on in the show, the Royals are in desperate need of a palate cleanser after the last 2 series that they played against the Diamondbacks and the Cubs. You couldn't ask for a more perfect palate cleanser than to play the White Sox again. And that's what they're doing starting tonight in Chicago. I know it's on the road, but I mean, Chicago's lost like 11 games in a row. Like they are the worst team in Major League Baseball. They're one of the worst teams of all time. So if you're looking for a palate cleanser for the Royals, and they certainly are, they're needing a get right series. It's the perfect time to play the White Sox.
Yeah, I hate that it's on the road. I'm glad Seth Lugo doesn't pitch in the series because that's the other elephant in the room right now. Lugo has been continuing to struggle. And I know that, that he long gave up the home run that bit him on Saturday, but Lugo has been far from what he was early in the season lately. So now, like, you've got all these things piling up a little bit. He was really good. I mean, against the White Sox, right? And I joke because last time he was against the White Sox, right, was his complete game, I believe it was. But we're coming up to a point now where he gave up. What did he give up in his 2 starts? The last 2 starts prior to the All-Star break, he gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. I think it was 5 innings. No, it was 6 innings. And then 5 runs in 5 innings, and now 6 runs in 6 innings. Insert White Sox complete game, awesome game here. Lugo is not the same, but I'm not saying that I'm not panicking on Lugo like I'm panicking on James MacArthur. Don't misunderstand. But Lugo is probably, I think we're looking at, going to not be quite as consistently dominant as he was in the first half, and that's okay. I think we all sort of knew that was possible, and maybe even,
and that's a really tough expectation to maintain.
It is. That's what I mean. We all we've talked about that. The chances that he replicates are very low. It's where does he come to, and who steps up? Right now, Brady Singer may step up and fill that gap for them. Cole Reagans wasn't terrible yesterday; he was fine. But Lugo is not, we just have to think about all of these things. And again, on a tough weekend against one of the worst offenses in baseball, by the way, which the Cubs are, he didn't look very good at all. And now that's 3 starts 3 out of his last 4, we'll call it. I keep wanting to bypass his best start of the year. Shame on me. But he wasn't, great, like totally clean in the All-Star game either. So we'll see on Lugo. Just something to think about. Just something to keep in mind.
I want to defend Seth Lugo for just a second. Those calls in the 7th inning were some of the blatantly worst calls that I've seen.
Maybe I'm being unfair.
The bases get loaded. Sam Long comes in and Patrick Wisdom hits a grand slam pinch hit.
Yeah.
And Lugo is then, of course, he has to be saddled with those runs that, I know that he gave up the 6 runs in 6 innings or whatever the final stat line was for him. I don't fully blame him, for that. So was he as sharp? Was he as sharp as he has? No, he hasn't been. But
2 strikeouts in the game against the Cubs. I mean, there are just a few things happening, I think, with his starts. We're like, okay, like what's going on here? He only struck out 5 batters in the Rockies game. 6 batters pretty good in the Boston game, 6 in that complete game. He's just not quite as sharp, but that's okay. Again, you're talking about a guy who in, mid-May had a whip under 1. That was, it was totally unreasonable to expect that over the course of the season, but they need that to get corrected though. At the same time that you don't have your back end, your back end's a mess. And at the same time, all these other things are happening. Just something to keep in mind. And hopefully he bounces right back. His next start will come against the Tigers on the road. And that's probably a pretty good spot for him. By the way, let's all hope the Tigers trade Tariq Skubal before the Royals play him, right? Like he's there. There's a real good chance that happens. But it's just a gross weekend for the Royals. They play, they've won 2. They went 2-4 in their last 6 games at home. That's not good, and that's not going to be good enough. Obviously, they've got to get it turned around. but the front office has got to get it turned around too. Let's talk about the trade deadline, some near misses for the Royals. What's still out there? How can they reasonably attack this thing? We'll take your calls on it, your comments. We're back on X today, which is always an easy way to get in touch with the show program. So if you're watching there, you can leave us your comments. We'll get to them. Also on Facebook and YouTube, and of course on 12 News Connected. You can get in touch with the show that way too. You can send us a message on X if you're watching on 12 News Connected, however you want to do it. We appreciate that. We appreciate you listening on KFH and the Odyssey app as well. Lots of different ways to take in the show. It's a busy Monday, a little uneasy if you're a Royals fan. Team USA off and rolling. We got Chiefs camp, all kinds of good stuff coming today. It's Albrecht and Caster at Sports Daily. Don't go anywhere.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why you're happy.
Fiction. That's
give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
12 News. Facts first.
No matter the sport, no matter the school, highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catch.
Brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
KFH, glad to be with you. Tommy, we had a trade during the commercial break.
Yeah, we
What
did.
do we got here?
Yeah, 2 minutes ago, the Royals announced that they have acquired right-handed pitcher Michael Lorenzen from the Texas Rangers in exchange for left-handed pitcher Walter Pennington. So Lorenzen, who is a veteran, has been in the league for a long time, 32 years old, will be joining the team. He was a starter for a while in his career, but he'll be looks like, probably reinforcements in that needy bullpen that we just talked about moments ago.
A bunch of games for Texas. Yeah, 18 of his 19 appearances this year have been as a starter. Texas is a good trade. They've got a good history of trading with the. It's easy for them to scout each other's players. So Lorenzen this year has really bailed the Rangers out. He's having one of his best years. They have had just basically every starter has been hurt, and so Lorenzen has stepped in. He's thrown 100 innings for him. He's been really good, and quite frankly, he'll be handy for a variety of reasons. It was interesting. Well, they're getting a bunch of pitching back, so even though they're potentially buying at the deadline, they needed to trade a starter, and so here we go with that. Lorenzen should be very handy. He's not like has to do anything like that. He's had. I'm trying to look here. So for the most part, he's spent 2 seasons as a starter. It looks like, and then of course he was this year. Last year for Philadelphia, he only started 7 games, but only threw 47 innings, and wasn't particularly good. But he has been this year, and look, he's been fine as a bullpen guy. So he helps, and he probably could help in a variety of ways. Alex Marsh has been, who would I trust more this year, Lorenzen or Marsh? It's pretty close, if not. I wouldn't say it's a shoe-in for Marsh. So it will be nice for them to have him for a lot of reasons. I don't know what his control is like. I'll look up his contract real quick, but it makes sense. When we talked to JJ Piccolo not that long ago, he brought up. He's right. Yeah, he is. He is. So, but they talked about guy. You can never have enough starters. So, yeah, I don't think this is obviously a future move. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. I have never heard of Walter Pennington. Okay, never, not one time. So I don't think it. And Royals on Walter Pennington, but I don't know who that is. So I don't think the cost is crazy high or anything like that. Lorenzen could be a starter for them down the stretch if they need him to be, or he can help them somehow in the bullpen. But he is a quality arm. He's been good this year. So we'll keep our eye on that. But that's a move. It's a move. And it's perfect timing because we're going into a segment where we're trying to evaluate this last 30 days. So I like that. I like the move. I like the deal. I don't think they gave up too much. A lot of people remember the last time they made a pitching trade with the Rangers. That turned out pretty well for the Royals. So, they hope that they get the same kind of result here, but it makes a lot of sense for both sides. And now they still have a sort of high leverage reliever, just like with some experience in high leverage spots. I don't think the Royals are going to go find a closer. I don't think they're going to the Marlins. What's their Scott for the Marlins, who's been really good. They're not going, I don't think, to do that deal. I would be very, very. What else is out there? Is there an old wily veteran out there that they can? I saw Fairbanks. Tampa's in a sell-off. Maybe you go get Fairbanks. That's fine. And then settle for Tommy Pham. Do something that doesn't cost much. And then you got to look at it in totality. And so that's where it comes in. Like in the weekend, we were talking a little bit more about the trades that they didn't make. They were apparently in on Arozarena, who ended up with the Mariners. They were apparently in on Jazz Chisholm, who ended up with the Yankees. And I think the reality in both of those situations is they didn't have enough. It seems to me, and that's reading between the lines a little bit, that they probably didn't have packages to offer as attractive as either the Mariners or the Yankees in those two respective trades. That's what we have been, wondering about this entire process is how much do they really have to trade with? Are they going to be bound to less headline type moves just because they don't have the pieces to go get the big headliner players? They gave up a lot to get Hunter Harvey. They gave up a whole lot to get Hunter Harvey. So you hope he's healthy. But I don't know that they have much left to go do the headliner trades. I still think they can make moves, as we just saw. That's a good one that didn't cost you much. Cost you money, basically. John Sherman, keep that checkbook open because really all that cost you, I think, is money. And we'll see, Tommy. They got to just keep at it and do what they can. The phone's not going to be put down by Piccolo as he has to try to, maneuver this thing, not having quite the ammo that a lot of teams that are going to be making these trades have.
Yeah, going back to the acquisition of Lorenzen, he has been a starter almost exclusively for the last couple of years. He was an all-star last year with the Tigers before he was dealt to the Phillies, had that no-hitter a year ago with the Phillies towards the end of the year. He really hasn't pitched particularly well the last few outings that he's had for the Rangers, but I think the one thing that you can look at is, he can work out of the bullpen. He can be, maybe a spot starter here and there. But the important thing is if the Royals believe that they can make a push for the playoffs, then they're going to need some depth in that rotation. Even though the rotation's been overall really good this year, they're going to probably need somebody that can step in, take a start here and there, maybe like lighten that workload on Seth Lugo, who, maybe part of the reason why we haven't seen him pitch quite as well as at the beginning of the year is because he's a veteran. He's been around for a long time, and this is the most that a team has really asked of him in his entire career. So I do think that is important, and the fact that Lorenzen is versatile enough that, he can pitch out of the bullpen if need be. So it does kind of check a couple of different boxes for the Royals.
Okay, so I'm going back here now to 2021, which was really the last time he worked as a reliever. That year an opponent's batting average of 240. He only gave up 2 home runs and 108 at bats. He was all right? But it's been a while since he's done it. Again, a veteran. I like the move. I'll say it now before he pitches a game. I like the move for the Royals. I think he could help them in 2 different ways.
Do you also think that, I know that the Royals played around a little bit with this, and you mentioned Alec Marsh. Could Alec Marsh go to the bullpen? Because they tried to pitch Alec Marsh out of the bullpen, early, was it last week in one of the games against the White Sox where
but remember, he just had to get a work-in game. Everyone looked at that, but he hadn't pitched in a long time. They had to get him some work in. Lorenzen has been better than Alec Marsh this year. There is absolutely a chance that Lorenzen becomes your 5th starter. Lorenzen has been objectively better than Alec Marsh this year. I say objectively, it's close. It's very close. Their whips are about the same. Marsh strikes more guys out. Lorenzen has a lower ERA. So take from that what you will. Lorenzen at his age is just probably a little more experienced. But I think it's close enough. Like if you had to ask me, well, let me rephrase that too, because Marsh's upside is higher. Like a great Marsh game is better than a great Lorenzen.
I don't know. Lorenzen's got a
So
no-hitter in the last 12 months.
Really, really, really good. I mean, he's really good, right? Lorenzen is I don't know if it's more consistent. I mean, he's had his, when he started July, Tommy, he had a 3.20 ERA, but he's not really giving you, like when Marsh comes out and deals. Let's just give an example here. When Marsh comes out and deals, he's going to give you, we'll call it a quality start, and he's done that a lot this year. Lorenzen has done that far less this year. But he's also probably a little less capable of the dud. They're about the same. I mean, honestly, they're about the same. Don't really care. One of them gets to help them in the bullpen. So whichever one it is, great. Go for it. It helps. They're still not the high leverage guy. So then I think you look at it as, all right. So option A is probably still the trade deadline. And we'll see how hurt Hunter Harvey is, but it's a back. I'm concerned. We'll say that. Is there anybody out there that you could plug into the end of your rotation? Okay. Maybe there's not. And then I think for me, Zerpa, right, probably has been the most effective and consistent. I think Long had been pretty good. He gave up, of course, the pinch hit grand slam. I mean, do you just shuffle things around knowing now you have Lorenzen / Marsh to add to the bullpen as you've sort of lost potentially Harvey, and I think at least at the moment you've lost MacArthur. You've got to work him back in. I honestly, like I would pitch him with big leads or when I'm behind for 2 or 3 appearances to just see what's going on there. So is that what you do? Do you just slide somebody else that you've got, or do you attack the deadline still? I don't know. I think they'll probably try to attack the deadline.
Yeah, I think you do both. I think you can try to do both. I think you can try to still go and acquire at least one more bullpen piece and maybe somebody that can be a late innings, high leverage kind of reliever for this team. And I don't know if they're going to be able to have the firepower to get a Tanner Scott type player, a closer that's on the market right now. Probably not. So. But here's a wild thought that, I don't know if they would really have anything to lose by even just giving it a shot. I'm not saying that you give him the job permanently or you name him your closer or anything like that. But why not try Michael Lorenzen in the fifth rotation place and move Alec Marsh to closer? Like, see if Alec Marsh could close out games.
He strikes enough guys out, maybe. That's asking a lot. That's asking a lot to just step right in. I don't know. That's tough. To say you've never done this before, we're in the middle of a playoff chase, jump out there and close games for us. I would start with Zerpa. I'm looking at Pete Fairbanks as another name. He is an unrestricted free agent in 27. So there really are two. There are 2 players probably out there. Scott from the Marlins, because I think he's got control too, and Fairbanks for the Rays that are big time options that could step in and be closers. So you can start there. Do they have enough to get either of those guys? I'm not sure. But those are 2 options, I would say. The other way we saw the Angels closer, who was it that traded for him? The Phillies, I think. So there are fewer options, but you got 2 options, Fairbanks and Scott. Those are at the top of the mountain probably.
Luis Garcia with the Angels is available. He's a veteran righty reliever. The Royals have been linked to him. That's another one. That's not Carlos Estevez, who the Angels traded to the Phillies. But Luis Garcia is still out there.
Well, I don't know if they're going to be able to do this. Scott's control. Fairbanks has a lot of control. Scott's actually a free agent. Okay, so maybe Scott does become a better fit because he'd cost you less. He's a free agent, unrestricted at the start of next year. So maybe it's more of an option even than Fairbanks. I thought he had a couple years of control. I was wrong about that. So we'll see. We'll see. They've got options. I do think though, and Lorenzen certainly helps. He adds a quality arm. I like that move for Kansas City a lot. I would still like to see high leverage. We would still like to see a leadoff hitter. Kind of feels like they're just going to make a move at the last minute for Tommy Pham just because nothing else worked out. I don't even know if they've been rumored to Tommy Pham. It just makes too much sense. Let's go to Charlie joining us on the IHOP hotline. Wants to get in some Royals talk here before we switch gears a little bit. Charlie, what's up? Good morning. Welcome into Sports Daily.
Good morning, guys. Hey, Tommy, are you doing all right, team man? Or, since I gave you that one-line zinger here back in, what was that, March or April, are you doing all right there? Did you get over that finally? Or?
Yeah, I'm feeling 100%. Thanks for your concern.
You bet. I just want to be sure that everything was, we're still good there, Hey, my call about was the Royals. I believe in 2015, I believe the Royals went and traded for Johnny Cueto.
Correct.
And I know it was kind of like, halfway through the season, but I remember that he was not very good during the regular season until he got to the playoffs. In fact, that one game, he just kind of like said, okay, guys, follow me. We're going to do this. And he was basically locked down. I'm not saying MacArthur's going to be the same way, but hopefully he can become that, or maybe get somebody else in there that, can be locked down.
Yes, you are correct about Cueto. He was not particularly great in the regular season and really did help them win a World Series. MacArthur was kind of put into a spot. We've never seen that. And I think getting him back to what he was is going to be pretty critical for the Royals' ultimate chances to win a World Series. But I think you're so far from that right now that you just need to get him some work that looks better. He has not been clean or sharp or effective for a while. Even as he's gotten the job done, it has not been what it once was. We'll say that. And so I would, if you're,
maybe we need to move him down there to like the minor leagues or something.
No. I don't think you need. I mean, you could, Charlie, and we appreciate the call. We're having a little bit of a connection issue there. I don't know. I don't think you have to do that. I think you can just shuffle things. And if it's middle relief, or if it is, we have a lead, like let's say, give you a perfect example. The Royals are up, let's call it 6-0 in the 7th inning. And you're ready to Marsh is assuming Marsh starts tonight. Marsh is ready to come out of the game. That's where I'd put MacArthur in. Hey, go get us a clean inning. Like, stop, just go give us your best stuff. Let's get you back on track. Because the reality is, like, if we're talking about who realistically they can go get versus the best of MacArthur, probably the best of MacArthur is going to Trump, unless they go get Fairbanks or Scott. Probably you'd still, so maybe you can get MacArthur back to speed. This happened again. The guy that the Rangers ended up using as their closer last year. Remember, they traded for Chapman, but then Chapman got out of control. They went back to Leclerc by the time they got to the World Series. That was the guy that they traded for Chapman to replace him. Well, crazy things happen, and guess what? He was good enough down the stretch. I think we could absolutely see that with MacArthur. So maybe just adding bullpen arms like Lorenzen is the right way to go. I think it's all cost prohibitive right now for J.J. Picollo. We can sit here and say what they need to do and what they should do. The reality is they have to be able to do it. And with the Rosarena and with Jazz Chisholm, they didn't have enough to get those guys. So you got to just keep going down the list. It's going to be tough. We knew that all season long. The Royals farm system sucks. It just does. Sorry. That hurts you at the big league level, too. We'll come back. One more on this in hour number 2. When we come back, Mitch Holthus talked to the fellas over at KNSS. We'll get some of his thoughts on the three-peat. Chiefs camp well underway. It was a wild weekend in the NFL with quarterback contracts. We talked about Dak on Friday. How about Love and Tua resetting and then resetting the market again? We'll have it all for you. Sports Daily, Albrecht and Caster. Don't go away.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here. Celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All this baseball coverage on KFH is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile and you can get tons of benefits. Still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. I want to say thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for always keeping us fueled up here at KFH. Always appreciate their support. All right, let's shift from baseball for just a minute here. Let's do this. Let's go to this. We're going to take a quick pivot here because we get the start of training camp updates from Mitch Holthus on Steve and Ted over on KNSS. He was asked this morning with Steve and Ted about the three-peat. So let's hear from Mitch Holthus and a little bit from Andy Reid on how things are going in that regard early from camp. Jad has that for us. We'll react to that a little bit, and then we can get more into football in the second hour. But here that is, Mitch Holthus this morning on Steve and Ted.
No team has ever won back-to-back Super Bowls. In fact, none of those teams that won the 8 previous back-to-backs even made it for a shot at a third straight Super Bowl. None of them made it back to the Super Bowl on the third year. So daunting task, but if we know something about Andy Reid, he's up for daunting tasks. In fact, he likes it that way.
Yeah, retention becomes a big part of it. The mistakes that you make, I'm gonna see who makes, who continues to make the same mistake. Normally, those guys aren't going to last with you a long time. So, if you're a repeat offender, you got problems normally in this thing. So we explain that to them before they get out there, and then I think that helps them really latch in and pay attention and focus. It increases that focus even a little bit more.
You think? Now, Andy Reid he's a transformational leader. He's an incredible leader. And he's not Vince Lombardi, hey, what's going on out there type, but he is very strong and forceful. He gets a lot done in a hurry, and he wants you to do the same.
So the guys know it by the schedule that you got to be ready to go. And there's no start slow, finish fast. I mean, that's not the way this thing works now with the way that, the playoffs work and the season works and all that. I mean, you got to jumpstart it right away, or you get lost in the shuffle. So our players, they realize that the urgency is there. We've got enough senior leadership on the team to where, they're aware of how this thing operates. And we talk to them as coaches about that. We've got to be on our game too, as coaches. So it's everybody pulling together and going, and the best time is today to get ourselves better. And we know we've got to get better. I mean, that's just how this thing goes.
Yeah, he's not wrong. They got to get better. I mean, you played with fire last year. I think that's a theme early from camp, for me anyway, that I've picked up on, is they have a very good understanding that they can't do what they did last year again this year. And although I don't totally agree with that, I think if they played that level of defense, they absolutely could. You just can't count on the thing. Like, think about how many times, even in the postseason, where it's a tiny little thing goes different and they lose. Is lucky the right word? Is lucky the right word? I don't know if lucky is the right word. They were very fortunate.
I think fortunate is a good word. Yeah.
Yeah. So they know that. They're very aware of that. And honestly, like, of all the things that have been said early in camp, that's what continues to stand out to me, is they have a full understanding of that, and they don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'll disagree a little bit. I think that they absolutely can play the way that they did last year and win a championship. We saw them do that a season ago. Obviously. I don't think they want to play that way. That's the biggest difference, is that whether or not they can or can't. I mean, I think they've got clearly the best quarterback in a generation to lead them. And they've proven that they can play less than perfect football, in some cases, even mediocre football, really be one-dimensional offensively. They really were able to, I think, make up for things with how good their defense was overall. But yeah, overall, they did not play to their best ability a season ago, and they still won a championship. They can do that again this year. They just don't want to do that, and nobody else wants them to do that either.
It's hard to compare because their offense is going to be so much better. And I know Mitch Holthus told us he thinks the defense will be better. I find that hard to believe. We'll have to see it. But those things, the offense is going to be significantly better. It is going to be significantly better. And Joe Thuney returned to camp or to practice this morning. He was initially placed on the PUP. That's good news. It's real hard to keep up with the Chiefs' injuries right now. Chris Jones has been out. There's been a ton of ill. So, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll check back in from Chiefs camp in the second hour. Also, the NFL quarterback contracts that are coming out. We'll get to the Royals a little bit more. Any other things from the Olympics that have stood out to us? Early on Team USA basketball over the big wins, soccer teams getting big wins. So there's a lot coming in hour number 2. We appreciate you joining us here on Sports Daily. All the different ways you can watch the show. 12 News Connected, X, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, listen to the show. KFH, KFHradio.com, and the Odyssey app. Hey, we're getting close to football. We're going to have a preseason game this week.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. You love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
And we are rocking and rolling on this Monday edition, reacting to a weekend, an interesting weekend in the sports world, an uneasy weekend if you're a Royals fan, but already some things happening on this Monday early that make you feel a little bit better. Jacob Albrocht, Tommy Castor with you, Jad Chambers on the other side, man in that IHOP hotline for us. IHOP excited to bring you back all-you-can-eat pancakes through September 15th. That's 869-1240. That's the easy way to get onto the program. You can also leave us your comments as well. On all the different ways you can watch the show with us. 12 News Connected, Facebook, YouTube, X, all there for you in ways you can get in touch with us. All right. We've talked a lot about the Royals. We will continue to do that because it is going to be probably as interesting a 36-hour stretch as we have over the course of this season so far. We'll get back to Chiefs camp a little bit, look around the NFL as well. We'll give you a kind of a wish list if we were Piccolo and we could just cherry pick what we would like to see happen. We'll give you that as well coming up this hour. Let's set up our giveaway right now for the hour. We'll give away some HTO this hour as well. It's a text to win contest. It's super easy. If you want to win some free iced tea from any of the Wichita Metro locations, if you want to win some free Rain coffee from those same locations, all you got to do is text the keyword T. TEA to the short code 20357. You can enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. That's T to 20357. Get yourself a tea and a coffee on us here at Sports Daily as we make our way through. All right, Tommy, let's hit these other two contract deals in the NFL, and then we'll get to our Royals trade deadline wish lists. You've got Tua Tagovailoa signing a massive deal, resetting the market, and then was it even 24 hours later? I don't think it was even 24 hours later. You get Jordan Love, who seemed to be just sort of waiting on Tua's deal to say, all right, now we want more than that. In the meantime, Dak Prescott does not have his contract. I saw Patrick Mahomes was sort of asked about this, and he kind of just said, like, I'm doing fine. Don't worry about it. I don't think either team made a bad decision on Tua and Jordan Love. I think there is, and I know, give me a second, because I think the upside to Jordan Love is higher than it is for Tua. But I would tell you this. I get Miami's side of it, and I think there's probably less risk for them because we know exactly what Tua is, and I don't mean injury prone, but they've literally built an entire roster around his skill set, right? Receivers that can make a lot of noise, a lot of speed. He's a precision passer when he's at his best, all of those things. I think theirs is very obvious and apparent. Was Jordan Love, we've seen for one season. We've just seen less of him, right? And they have a ton of young talent too. If you're asking me which quarterback I would take, Tua or Jordan Love, I'd tell you Jordan Love. But I totally get where the Dolphins came from on this. They didn't have a choice. Let me long way to say this. I think the Packers probably had more of a choice than the Dolphins. Dolphins had to do this, right? The Packers should have done this, and they did. But they're not quite as invested roster-wise to how the Dolphins have built the the offense around Tua.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that the Dolphins, I mean, the Packers really didn't have much of a choice either. I really think that because, I mean, think about it. Like the Packers have invested so much time into Jordan Love. I mean, he is the quarterback of the future for that franchise, for that organization. And it's not like they had put a bunch of, other things into place or other, backup plans in position for Jordan Love. Like they kind of had to do this also with Jordan Love. What other option did they have?
Right. We just have seen less. You go get a different quarterback. What I mean is like the Dolphins, and it doesn't really matter. Here's the other part that's hard to wrap your head around. If you know, and we do, that your quarterback essentially has got to be a Hall of Famer or to win a Super. There are just very few outliers. I think the guy that's more likely to get to that level at this point is Jordan Love. I would say. But man, he has done it once. And there was a stretch last year where he did not look very good. Now he ended pretty good, but it's not like he's a rookie. If Jordan Love doesn't take a step forward this year, there will be concern. The Packers have a great young offense too. And so they gave up Aaron Jones, though. This will be, we know what we're getting out of Tua. Let's put it this way. We know exactly what we're going to get out of Tua. If he's able to be on the field, and health is obviously a big concern for him. If he's able to be on the field, we know what we're going to get out of him and that offense. They're going to be fast-paced, high-flying. He's not going to, take like massive chances down the field. He's going to feed their players and let them make plays. They have a track team on offense. Jordan Love, I don't know that we still know the best or worst even of Jordan Love. We just haven't seen it long enough. And we got a little bit of it last year in both regards. Now he finished strong. And I like Jordan Love. Don't misunderstand. But it just paints this picture of what teams have to go through with their quarterbacks. I'd tell you that both of those guys probably deserve that contract more than, let's say, Trevor Lawrence did. And I'm not saying that I don't think Trevor Lawrence can get to that point, but as far as what we've seen on the field so far, but you just have to pay him. And you have to pay him knowing that your chances to win a Super Bowl with them are so low. And I get it. Like that's what we do. But right now things are just so skewed to the best of the best at that position right now. So yeah, if you're a Dolphins fan, do you really think Tua is going to win you a Super Bowl? The chances of that happening are very small, I would say. But at the same time, the hell else are you going to do? You have to make him the highest paid guy, even knowing that. It's just dilemma. It's why Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott and all this, we have this standoff happening in Dallas, I'm sure, is because it's like, well, is Dak good enough to win the Super Bowl? They've had a lot of good chances in recent years, and he doesn't come up big in the biggest spots. So what are you going to do now? Give him another big contract? But you've hamstrung yourself. You don't have any other options. So I don't know what else they would do. But you can run with Trey Lance, I guess. But, every one of these situations, it ends up kind of being the same thing. Sometimes you just have to pay guys that probably shouldn't be paid if winning the Super Bowl is the ultimate goal.
Well, yeah, and going back to Jordan Love, you mentioned that, well, the other option they had is just go out and get another quarterback. That's easier said than done. The market
it's not easily. Yeah, it's not easily. It's of course they're not going to do that. Who are you going to go get, right? And of course they're not going to.
Yeah, they've got two quarterbacks currently on their depth chart. They've got Jordan Love and Sean Clifford. Like that's who they have, a quarterback as of right now. So, they don't have that option. They don't have the option to go out and trade for anybody. I don't think they have the option to go and sign anybody. Like really, I think that you're of the belief, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but kind of what I feel like you're saying is that the Dolphins had no choice but to sign Tua, where the Packers really did have, some other things that they could have done. I don't know what that is though. I think really the Packers are right there with the Dolphins where it's like, they had to sign Jordan Love. Like they didn't. What I
mean is the Dolphins have been very precise and specific to the types of players they are building with to build around specifically Tua. I don't think the Packers have been doing that because we hadn't seen Jordan Love until last year. They've been just trying to roster build. And by the way, they've done a really good job of it. But if you go back and you look at Jordan Love, he went through that 4-game losing streak where he had like 3 or 4 touchdowns and about 7 interceptions. He was not. And then And then, though, it was on November 12th where he locked in, November 19th, I should say, where he locked in and only threw one interception through the final 8 games of the regular season. And he was electric and awesome. And he was pretty good in the postseason. He was not great against the 49ers, but he was really good, you'll remember, against the Cowboys. So I'd seen enough for them to justify the deal. And I've said this too. Like, if you're asking me if I had to go out on the free agent market and say, you can either have Jordan Love or Tua, I'm going to take Jordan Love. The only thing I brought up there was the Dolphins have literally made every decision that they've made for the last 3 years built on Tua's skill set. I don't think the Packers have, like, roster-wise quite invested there, but I think they also have the better player. Jordan Love had to get the deal. And good for Jordan Love, by the way, because he had to sit there. It's not his fault that Aaron Rodgers lingered into the abyss there for a long time. And the Packers didn't make the wrong decision there either. Aaron Rodgers won a couple MVPs, so they weren't making the wrong and incorrect decisions. He just played longer than they anticipated. That's fine too. It's all a unique set of circumstances. Jordan Love earned that deal. I mean, he earned that deal based on the way the market works. There's no question about that. It's just wild. And again, somebody asked Patrick Mahomes about it. Here's what's wild about Patrick Mahomes, Tom. He could come in every season and be like, you need to make me the highest paid again. And what would Kansas City have to do? They'd have to make him the highest paid.
They would make it work. I mean, they would make it work.
Right. That's what's so crazy about it. And that's what bugs me about Dak, by the way, is that he signed a deal and he still has a year left on his deal. Go play it. You got your big deal. Go play it out. And Jerry Jones had comments about him being the best leader and the fact that he is out there and not holding out and working that speaks to his character. He says he's the best leader he's ever coached. And I believe that. And that's fine. I just, like, it's silly to me that the Cowboys are dealing with this. Like, they should be worried about CeeDee Lamb's contract, right? And Micah Parsons' contracts. Those contracts are on rookie deals. Sort of the trend has set itself there. You figure those out. They shouldn't have to be figuring out Dak Prescott right now. Let him play out into his free agency. Go earn it, Dak. Somebody's going to pay you next year. Like, the Cowboys are trying to figure out if they go all in or if they blow it all up. Re-signing Dak long-term doesn't really help either of those things. They're kind of playing for this year. So just let it play out. And maybe Dak will do that. I don't know. But the Chiefs are fortunate to have Mahomes. By the time his contract's up, I'm sure they'll try to figure out a way to get him another one. What is he right now? Let's go look. Let's go look at quarterback contracts. Because I'm sure now how many guys are ahead of him with those two deals. Burrow got ahead of him. Love, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Goff, Herbert. So stupid. God, on the average per year, Tommy, here are the quarterbacks making more than Patrick Mahomes right now. Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, and he is making the same as Kirk Cousins. That's on a per year basis. And you got a quarterback, Kansas City, that's okay with that. Now, his total value, if he played it out, is longer. But even if you look at the total guaranteed, fully guaranteed money, it is so much less for Mahomes than it is the others. So much less. Like, not even close. It is hilarious, but it is what it is. And I don't think Mahomes cares. He just, like, I feel like he's always felt a greater responsibility to his peers to continue to, move that bar higher for the guys. But as far as himself, like, I don't think he cares. And look, he's got more business interests and he's fine. He's got the endorsements. He's got all these other things, but it is wild to think about. And when did Mahomes sign this deal? Last year?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, and that's the thing. It makes it really hard to keep track of all of this.
In the span of a year, that many different players at quarterback have been paid that way. How many of those quarterbacks would you say? I'm going to give you the list again. You tell me how many of these guys you think have a good chance, a moderate chance to win a Super Bowl before their careers are done.
Okay.
Burrow, Love, Lawrence, Tua, Goff, Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Hurts, Murray, Watson, Cousins.
I'm going to say 4, maybe 5 of those names.
I would say Burrow. You'd
Burrow's
agree on that, I'm
one.
sure.
Yep,
Love
Burrow's
would
one.
be another. I would say
I did
Love.
not. I didn't have Love. I mean, it's too small.
I would say I know,
I
but
don't
I
think
would.
we've seen enough from Love to be able to
We
say
have
that.
not. No, we certainly haven't. I'm just trying to say like gut reaction. I
Yeah,
would
he
say
was not one of
no.
mine.
I would say no on Trevor Lawrence
Yeah,
at this
no.
point. I would say yes still to Justin Herbert. I would say yes to Lamar Jackson. I would
Yep.
say yes to Jalen Hurts. There's
I
my list.
mean, okay, so I also have Jared Goff on there. I
Yeah.
think Jared Goff has a moderate
But
chance.
is that a
with
the
team
Goff
that he
thing?
has.
Is that a Goff thing or just how a believer in the Lions?
That wasn't the question. The question was, what's the chances that any one of these
That quarterback,
quarterbacks
I know.
has a moderate chance to win a Super Bowl? And I think Jared Goff, with the situation that he's in right now with the Lions, has a moderate chance to win a Super Bowl in his career.
Okay. What would you say? Okay, if that was moderate, how many of those guys would you say have a good chance? Good chance to win a Super Bowl?
Probably two. I would say Burrow and Jackson, maybe, or Burrow and Hurts.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe Herbert. I got to see Herbert with a good coach. I know. I got to see him with a good coach. I look, Herbert took a massive step back this year, and he doesn't have much to work with this year. So this may not even be the year, but I cannot get over the fact that he was, before CJ Stroud, the best rookie season we've ever seen. And then he followed it up with a good season. And he's had some of the most disastrous coaching ever for a quarterback like him. I got to see him with Harbaugh.
He's also had in his career
He's also got a lot of injuries.
A tremendous team around him year in and year out.
Yeah.
There's always been a ton of talent.
Totally.
A ton of defensive talent on the other side of the ball. Big names, big wide receivers, star running backs. I mean, like he's had a lot of talent around him.
Yes.
And that's what the Chargers have always done. They underachieved.
So has Joe Burrow. And I think a lot of my thing on Herbert is a lot of what has ailed the Chargers has had absolutely nothing to do with Herbert. Last year, not great, right? Not obviously what you want to see from him, but over his career, I mean, his first seasons were just so absurd and how good he was that let's just see it play out. And maybe I'm overstating it, and I don't think he will, by the way. I'd say so. Maybe good chance isn't fair, but the problem is the only good chance is Burrow, right? Because Lamar Jackson has to get through Mahomes. These guys all have to get through Mahomes, but Burrow's done it before. I think we're probably sleeping on the Eagles. That's why I like Hurts in that conversation. I wouldn't say I think Hurts is better than any of those, but we're talking about winning Super Bowls, and that's where it's so funny, right? Josh Allen is in reality. It's Allen, Burrow, and Mahomes still to me as the three guys, and Lamar Jackson. But again, all of those guys have to get through Mahomes. Good luck. And that's what we face in the NFL. Right now, if I'm an NFC team, like if I'm the Pack or whatever, I'm like, all right, we just got to get in there and take our shot at Mahomes. That's the way you have to think right now. Because I think the Chiefs have made themselves better than we've seen. So 2 massive quarterback deals over the weekend. Just continues to make this crazy thing. And you know what else none of them did, Tommy? Fully guaranteed the contract. Dummy Browns. Goodness gracious. How many contracts have we had now? And I told you weren't here yet when the Watson deal got done.
No, I was. We talked about it a lot. Yeah.
Were you here like when it happened?
Yeah.
Okay. So when that happened, the stupidity of that deal was, and that nobody was going to, like, that wasn't a trendsetter. Nobody else was going to just start doing that. And look what's happened now. We've had now at least a dozen of these deals get done since Deshaun Watson. And guess what? None of those teams have done. Not even close to it. Like, they're not even close to doing it. Fully guaranteeing the deals. They're barely guaranteeing half of the deals. What a terrible. It's got to be the worst contract in the history of sports. No offense to the Bobby Bonilla contract. That has got to be the worst contract in the history of sports. Is Deshaun Watson even a top 20 quarterback in the league?
Yeah, no, I think I would put him in the top 20. I don't know if I would.
Go look at the list. Go get you a list of 20 quarterbacks and tell me if you think he's top 20.
And I'm not trying to defend that contract. No,
I know you're not.
Abysmal.
But what's crazy is I'm not sure he is a top 20 quarterback in this league. Based on what we've seen,
he's probably right, in my opinion, probably right inside that top 20. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be close.
I don't know that he is. I got to pull up a list now because I look at these contracts, and I know we got to take a break and we'll come back with Royals talk. I look at these contracts constantly because it blows my mind how fortunate the Chiefs are with Mahomes. It just unbelievably fortunate in everything about that. But if I'm looking right now, as far as Deshaun Watson, okay, we know the guys that are obviously better than him. So I'm going to go down now to sort of the middle of the pack. You're not taking him over Kirk Cousins. You're not taking him over Jared Goff. You're not taking him over, you're not taking him over Rodgers, I'll say. Would you take him over Matt Stafford?
That's a tough one. Yeah, I think I'd probably take him over Stafford at this point in Stafford's career. Not that Stafford, I mean, of course, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's had a lot of injuries lately. He's getting older.
Deshaun Watson's hurt every year.
Well, I know, but like Watson, I think still has maybe a little bit more gas left in the tank. It's close though, I think, between those two. I would put Watson over Geno Smith, who's probably right around in that top 20. I'd put him over Baker Mayfield probably at this point.
No way. You'd take
really?
Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield right now?
Baker Mayfield was very close to being out of the league entirely.
He was, but then he's had his resurgence.
He has, but I don't know if he's resurged all the way to the point to where he's now in the top 20 of NFL quarterbacks.
We are 5 years clear of Deshaun Watson even being considered good. He has been below average or not playing or injured for 5 years.
Can I just say also
Baker
how much
Mayfield last year threw for 4,000 yards, had 28 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Deshaun Watson hasn't sniffed that kind of season since 2020.
Can I just say how much I hate being on the side of feeling like I'm defending Deshaun Watson, because I don't like defending Deshaun Watson. I hated that contract. I hated that deal. I don't like that. I think you've pigeonholed me into defending him, but I want to be clear. I don't think he's a very good quarterback.
No, that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is point out the reality that I don't think he is in the top. I think he's in the bottom third of quarterbacks in this league. I would tell you now, of the rookies that were just drafted and the rookies that are playing, I certainly would not take him over Caleb Williams. I certainly would not take him over Jaden Daniels. And I wouldn't take him, probably over JJ McCarthy at this point. That's probably that would begin to stretch it a little bit. I don't know that I like him over Will Levis. I don't even like him over Derek Carr at this point, based on what we've seen.
Do you like him over Russell Wilson?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think. But Wilson was better. Than him objectively for the we have not seen Watson play meaningful football in 5 years.
Do you like him better than Bryce Young?
No, I would take Young's upside.
You would take Bryce Young over Deshaun Watson?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Watson came in last year, Tommy, and in 6 games in each of the last 2 seasons, he can barely complete 60% of his passes, and his touchdown to interception ratio is barely 1-to-1. He has been really, really bad, and he has barely played. 5 years. This will be year 5 since he's been good. What makes us think there is anything left in his tank? I don't know what it is. And I feel terrible for the Browns. Well, I don't feel terrible because they made this claw. I feel terrible for Browns fans. It's a joke when we see these contract deals and there's Deshaun Watson just sitting there with this massive contract and the most guaranteed money ever. And it's still not even close after a dozen more deals get done. Worst contract in the history of sports. I'll stand by that. 869-1240 is the number to call. We'll come back to baseball. Our wish list. If you could just cherry pick, let's call it 2 moves for the Royals to make before the trade deadline. Best case scenario. This isn't like most likely or realistic, just best case scenario. We can cherry pick it based on what we think is out there. Let's do it. We'll come back and we'll do that next on Sports Daily. It's Albrecht and Castor. Don't go away.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door, or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
We're happy that we've been able to acquire a veteran pitcher for us that we think can help us in a lot of different ways. A lot of great experiences throughout his career, and we thought he was a good fit, especially in light of some of the things that happened yesterday and how fragile this season can be. So we had an opportunity last night to dig a little bit deeper with the Rangers, and we're able to capitalize on him being available. So we're happy Michael's going to be a Royal.
There you go. There you go. Not a ton of insight into what specifically he'll do, I don't think, but we'll find out. I don't think they're going to all of a sudden not start Marsh tonight, but long term, I don't know. But it gives the Royals a good piece. Welcome back into Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor, veteran pitcher, can help him as a starter, can help him as a reliever, just helps. And I got no issue. The Royals were not able to get a Rosarena. They were not able to get Jazz Chisholm. We have feared this all season long, that they aren't able to get some of these higher name guys because they don't have the prospect load to get them. I think what we're seeing is they have the ability to, or the desire to spend some cash, which is good. That will help. Now it's like, okay, what can they get pulled off? So we asked this question before the break of what would be a wish list of things that are out there that, are moderately realistic. I think we're not going to say, I'm going to go get Juan Soto. Although Ken has some fun with us and says 2001 Carlos Beltran and 2014 Wade Davis. Clever there, Ken. We are talking about players currently playing in specific places. But let's look at this. Okay. So you got a wide variety of players and rumors and rumblings. Let's say you can have two. Let's say you can have two players here. What would you do? What if Tommy Castor's in the chair and you can go, cost, knowing that it's going to cost you a lot no matter what you do here? What two players would you bring in?
I would love to get Tanner Scott. I don't know if the Royals are going to be able to have the return package for the Marlins that the Marlins are going to want to get for a guy like Tanner Scott. But I mean, he's got such electric stuff. And he's been such a lockdown closer. And that's really what the Royals have been lacking, is somebody that you can count on in high leverage situations that can come in and shut down games. James MacArthur has had good stuff also, but he hasn't been locked down. Tanner Scott, the only knock on him is his control issues a little bit, but that really hasn't been to his detriment this year. In fact, I think that he's found a way, at least from what I've read, to harness that into a strength where, batters don't really know what to expect when they face him. And it's become a really good asset for him. So Tanner Scott would be one guy, especially if they're going to attack bullpen. That would be the number one priority for me from the bullpen priority position of it. And then as far as a bat is concerned, the two top guys that I would have loved to get, obviously Arozarena and Chisholm, didn't pan out for them. So then you pivot and you look at who else is out there. I really like Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas is a guy that I know you and I have talked about. I don't know if they're going to be able to acquire him either from the Nationals, but that's a bat that is really intriguing to me and somebody that I think could be, could provide that instant pop in the lineup and could fill the variety of holes that the Royals need.
You stole my answer on Thomas, and I didn't think you would. But yeah, Thomas is where I'm at with that. He can play the outfield. The one thing about Thomas I'm not sure of is if he can play center field. So he doesn't guarantee you that. But he's controllable. You'd get him for this year and next year. And he has really come on in the last couple of years and become a good player. His on-base percentage helps you certainly at the top that he was a year ago. He was hurt earlier this year, so his numbers are going to lag a little bit. But when he's been out there this year, he's been good. He can run like crazy, which we know the Royals like, and his on-base percentage helps you at the top of the lineup. Can he play center? I don't know, but I like him because you can get him for next year too. I think I would take Fairbanks over Scott at this point. I would prefer to have the control of a guy like Fairbanks. He's also done it a little longer and as a part of some more high, not just high leverage, but high impact, like playoff chase type spot So if Fairbanks ends up being out there, obviously take either of them. They've both been really good at the back end of games. But I would give me just a little bit more control, and give me a guy who's done it in playoff type atmospheres more. And I think I would prefer that a little bit. It'd be maybe more expensive. When we consider cost, if you can get Scott for less, and I would take him over the A's outfielders because I think he won't cost you as much most of the time. Now, if we ask to more like reality-based stuff, I'd still say Tommy Pham is the most reality-based thing they could do. But here's what makes it really difficult. Is it really is going to come down to the deadline. Like, it's going to be a true deadline, I think, but sit back and wait. All of these players we've talked about, I am certain that JJ Picollo has checked in on and at least had initial conversations on what the Royals would be willing to give up. So now you just sort of have to wait for all the other teams who have more to sit there and potentially make their offers. And I think that's what happened to him in the Chisholm deal, and I think that's what happened to him in the Rosarena deal.
And you know what? I think that's probably going to happen to them with a guy like Tanner Scott also. There are going to be big-time teams like the Dodgers and Phillies and others that will line up that can pay for Tanner Scott to bring him in. Think about, by the way, what they gave up, to bring in Hunter Harvey. That was a pretty big return that the Nationals got to part ways with Hunter Harvey. So I'm not sure that, knowing that Tanner Scott, just based on his resume and everything else that he's got above what Hunter Harvey is currently right now, that the Royals have anywhere close to being able to provide a return that the Marlins would feel comfortable with in dealing Scott to the Royals. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was another reliever like, you mentioned Fairbanks or Luis Garcia from the Angels. There are a handful of other relievers that are out there. I'd love Tanner Scott. I think it would be awesome. It's been a minute since the Royals have had a shutdown closer that you just know that they can go to every ninth inning in safe situations, and he's their guy. I would love that to be the case, but as much as I would, definitely celebrate a trade like that, I'm not sure that it's realistic.
Well, and remember too, like Harvey was expensive, and I think a part of that was outside of the box because they couldn't get into a bidding war. They didn't allow Harvey to get into a bidding war. They went, and you could say overpaid for Hunter Harvey. And by the way, I can say that they overpaid for Harvey, but still like that they did it, which is sort of where I fall on that deal.
I'm not sure they overpaid for Harvey because they
gave up a lot.
They paid for his long-term potential. I think they paid for, what he conceivably can do for them this year, maybe not in a closer role, but more so what they can do with him, in future years. And that's all well and good, and that's fine. I just look at what they gave up for Hunter Harvey and think, okay, so if you want even somebody who is that much more impact, Harvey.
I agree. But he's never had an ERA. Well, 2.23. Not as good last year, and we got. Obviously, we have to see. Or sorry, not as good early this year, and then not as good. So he's had a couple of good. I like Hunter Harvey. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I like Hunter Harvey. I like the deal, but they had to be overly aggressive to go get a player nobody even thought of as a player that was really on the market. That's I think the difference. Like, everybody knows Tanner Scott's on the market now. Pete Fairbanks is probably on the market. That's going to drive that cost to a point where the Royals can't get there. So maybe there's another player that they can go find that we're not even thinking of as being on the market, and they can be ultra aggressive that way, because that's what they had to do with Harvey. And hopefully he gets back, because what sucks about him having back spasms is eventually you could have seen a scenario where he had to become the closer this year because MacArthur's doing what MacArthur's doing. But now with back spasms, I'm not sure you can even do that. I think at this point, you just got to hope that Harvey can contribute in any way. And that could tell you why he hasn't been quite as effective too, if he's been having some back issues. But we'll see. We both like Lane Thomas. Maybe you go back to the well with the Nationals. I don't know. And, again, Tommy Pham's just sitting there. You got to do something.
I think it's gonna be Tommy Pham. I really do. JJ Picollo, I know we played a clip from him coming into this break from just a few minutes ago. Another part of that interview, that conversation that Picollo just had, he did confirm that they've had talks with the White Sox. Wouldn't get into specifics, but confirmed that there had been discussions revolving various players. So I think at the end of the day, it's probably going to be Tommy Pham.
And maybe I haven't looked at the White Sox bullpen because they've been so bad. Maybe they've got an arm that your scouts like. Maybe that's the case. But again, so another thing that Picollo said there is that he said, quote, "There's a chance that Lorenzen starts," and not even as much to Marsh specifically. But, there's a lot of starters for them, young players that are reaching thresholds they have not. So maybe they just randomly can skip a few starts and let Lorenzen extend out Brady Singer and Cole Reagans and, maybe even Alec Marsh. And they can just stretch the life out of these guys this year because there's still a really good chance this team makes the postseason. Listen, we're excited about a trade deadline. And not because the Royals are trying to add anything that they can to, from a bad team. They're in the buyer's market and they've already traded for 2 players. And I don't think they're done. And I applaud the effort because I don't think they have much to work with. So I think Picollo's handling this right. We'll see. Some of these things are out of their control, like Seattle offering more and for Randy Arozarena, or the Yankees offering more for Jazz Chisholm. Nothing you can do about that.
I know that this guy's price tag is going to be probably not realistic for Kansas City. How about Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox? I mean, the guy hits a ton of home runs.
Blake Phillips. He gets hurt a lot too, but yeah, he's a great player. No, the Royals can't afford him.
He's a center fielder. That'd be the biggest trade the Royals have made in years.
Yeah, he's also on a big contract and is hurt all the time. I'm not sure. I think you got to be real careful with a player like him if you're the Royals. Like, there are other teams that could probably take on his injury risk and his money. I'm not sure the Royals can do that. I almost just said I think I'd rather have Tommy Pham for a sandwich than what it would take to get Robert. I might prefer the no cost Tommy Pham option for this particular team. I'm not saying Pham's a better player. All right, we'll come back 869-1240. We'll have more on this. More on Chiefs camp. Let's check in on Chiefs camp. We haven't had a lot of chatter there, but it's busy. I mean, it's active. They're kind of in the dog days here. That's all coming for you on Sports Daily.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Daily. Albrocht and Castor here. This portion of the program brought to you by Crestview Country Club. Finally got back out to the pool out there at Crestview this weekend. Was great. I enjoyed, we were out there like 3 hours with the kids. Get out there and you feel how hot it is. It's pretty hard to get out of the water. But we had that. We both played a little golf this weekend. Not together, but we both did get a little golf in. That was, it's always a good time. You had to shoot.
It was okay. It wasn't a great round. It was all right. I'm glad that we got it in though on Friday. This week is going to be brutally hot, so
it's going to be warm.
Might be a little too hot to go out and play golf, but a perfect week for the pool.
A perfect week for the pool. Perfect week for a cold beer in the restaurant bar area as well. Give Crestview a call. Tell them we sent you. Check out they have all kinds of different memberships. It's not all about the golf, and they have different price options too. If you're not a big golfer, there's still all the other stuff you can get a use of. Just give them a call. Tell them we sent you here from Sports Daily. All right, we continue our conversation here. A lot of fun today as we sit and just sort of watch the Major League Baseball trade deadline near and the Royals. Chiefs camp is to that point where it's kind of to the lull, I think, before we get to the preseason games. It's probably the part they're all sick of, quite literally now, because today you've got Hollywood Brown still sick, Clyde Edwards-Helaire sick. We saw Xavier Worthy get sick. There's clearly some sort of bug making its way around St. Joe, which is kind of a pain in the butt for them out there. Couple other notes from this morning. Tommy, Suamataia and Morris are back to splitting first-team reps, and Joe Thuney's back, which is good to see, right? We expected it, not a surprise, but certainly good to see it when he's going to be such a big part of what they do this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Joe Thuney is back, and if it ends up being Suamataia who ends up getting kind of the starting nod overall, I think it's going to benefit him a ton having Joe Thuney's experience right next to him on the line. So that's great. That's a great development that Thuney is back and ready to go. I think we're going to be having this conversation a lot in the weeks to come, getting clarity or wanting to have clarity at least on who ultimately will be the starter at left tackle. I just don't know if even they know fully exactly when week 1 of the regular season starts, who is going to be starting at left tackle. It doesn't mean that like I'm in panic mode or anything right now about it. I just think that it's still fully up in the air. I don't know if they are 100% confident in either Wanya Morris or Kingsley Suamataia. It doesn't mean that, one of them is, or both of them are bad. It just means that they haven't fully decided, I don't think, who is going to get that starting role. It's going to, I think, probably play out late into training camp, maybe into preseason.
I can't wait for the preseason. It's so funny. Like the preseason in reality, we're going to watch the offensive line rotation more than anything. I think even though there's so many new faces at wide receiver, I think we have a pretty good idea of how that's going to go, right? We know how the wide receiver room is likely to play out. You'll have Rice, you'll have Brown, you'll have Worthy, and everybody else will sort of rotate in there behind them. Not a lot of questions there, even though we want to see it, right? We want to see it play out. I don't think we have a lot of questions about how it will play out. But on the line, I think we have all kinds of questions. We don't know how this shakes out. We don't know who's the starting left tackle. We don't know that maybe there's even a different starting right tackle if both of those left tackles have really good camps. We got to get Thuney back. It's going to be interesting on the offensive line. But I still think it's the most interesting. And then there's the other big kind of thing happening at camp right now, and that's Chris Jones being out for a little while. Any concern at all there? I don't think there is, but he missed all of training camp last year too. So I think it's okay, but he no helmet again today. Now they weren't in pads, but no helmet. He didn't really do anything again today. Any level of concern creeping in about Chris Jones?
No, I don't think so, because he did miss all of training camp last year, missed all of preseason. Of course, he missed week 1 of the regular season, and he still, of course, is so talented that it didn't ultimately matter at the end of the season. He was still incredibly effective, albeit maybe not quite to the level that we were accustomed seeing from Chris Jones. He was another year older, so, he, maybe slowed down slightly. But other than that, I mean, he still played to the level that for the most part we expected from him. I think we'll see the same. Now, if this drags out days or weeks, if it looks like it's going to be more of a long-term situation, then yeah, we can revisit that discussion. But as of right now, I'm not panicked about it. I'm not concerned about it. I think everything's going to be okay.
I hope it is. I don't have any reason to panic or be overly concerned. Just he's older. He's older, and if he's missing camp, hopefully it's not anything serious. I think we probably overlook and take for granted that 2 of their 3 best players would be considered older players in this league, Chris Jones and Travis Kelce. I think in Kelce's case, dude just doesn't miss time, knock on wood, so you don't think about it, but he's talking about it. He is talking about it, about how he may need to rest his body a little bit more this year, and he understands that he's getting older. I think for the first time, we're hearing him at least acknowledge that. And Chris Jones has certainly missed plenty of time over his career. Don't ever take health for granted in the NFL. I know for the Chiefs, it's pretty much as long as you've got 15, you're good. And I do believe that, by the way. Two of their 3 best players are old by NFL standards. And so we gotta think about that stuff maybe, and just pay attention to it a little bit. Joe Thuney would fit that category too, and he was on the PUP list. So health can always take what you're wanting to do in the NFL and screech it to a halt. But the Chiefs have been, fairly fortunate. We'll keep an eye on Chris Jones, keep an eye on practice today. I'm sure we'll get an update from Andy Reid on what's going on there. But plenty to go. And we get a preseason game this week. Tommy. You ready for it? You're going to watch 1 second, or would there be the Hall of Fame game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll lock into it, but yeah, of course I'm going to have it on. I mean, the Hall of Fame game is always.
I always want to say
what
I
it
am.
is. It is what it is.
No,
like,
I know.
You know, you go into it, you're not like expecting it to be hard hitting or anything. But I mean, it's been such a drought of no NFL for such a long time. Yeah, like I'll have it on for a little bit.
I always pretend like I will, and I never do. All right, we'll come back. We'll tell you what's on the network today, including Royals baseball. That's next on Sports Daily.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchy Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
That's it for us, everybody. Good show today. Fun show. It's going to be fun. Jim Bowden, Tom just sent me this reporting that the Royals are in on Tanner Scott, but so are the Orioles, Yankees, and Red Sox, which
good luck.
Goes to the point we've been making. They may get outbid on some of these higher profile players, but we'll see. We'll have it all recap for you tomorrow. Hey, you've got Royals baseball tonight coming up at first pitch at 7 o'clock against the White Sox. Infinity Sports Network programming until then, including Bob and Jeff here locally on KFH. Thanks for listening. You can go back and listen on the Odyssey app. Thanks for watching on 12 News Connected. We'll be right back here tomorrow, probably with some trade news. We'll see. For Tommy Castor and Jad Chambers, I'm Jacob Albrock. See you then.